Thank you, everybody, for waiting. Your patience has been very good so far. We want to introduce Superintendent Baszler. She just got upstairs from the briefing, and here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. I understand that there may be some questions and some clarifications. I will try to answer as many of those as I possibly can from the briefing. But first, I also want to start with this. I understand that there are likely many pain points and challenges that you may experience as a result of the governor's order that you've just heard as you move through this process. The team here at DPI is committed to collecting your suggestions for possible solutions that the governor may consider in his future policy decisions that he can make as he moves forward with his executive order power. One of the things that we do know that wasn't clarified in the announcement today is exactly where to send these plans to. You should know that guidance will be posted regarding the plans on our website very, very soon. This guidance was created in collaboration with leadership from the governor's office with specific asks and expectations of what the governor wants to see in the plans before he will approve. In the guidance, it does provide the information that these plans will be sent to Amanda and that the plans will be approved in cooperation and collaboration with the governor's office in partnership. The governor's office also plans to send out a more detailed explanation of what the expectations are, and the governor's office is calling this the governor's interim message. One thing that I want to clarify in today's press conference briefing, the governor mentioned Senate Bill 2186, and then he also went into talking about the plans. I want to alleviate some concerns to let everyone know that it was never intended that these plans in the next week would be Senate Bill 2186 plans. As we all know, there's a great deal of public comment, school board approval, teacher input that is required in order to develop and have a Senate Bill 2186 waiver plan. The governor was hoping that some of the ideas and plans, that items that are included in your plans that are occurring during this pandemic experience could lead to ideas and solutions that may garner some future Senate Bill 2186 innovative education ideas. One of the things that I also want to clarify specific to the briefing is that the restricted access will remain indefinitely. That was clear, and so there was no end date that was mentioned for the restricted access to our buildings by students. April 1st was the deadline that was mentioned where school districts must have the plan submitted by March 27th, allowing us that weekend up through April 1st to review the plans and have the governor approve them. At that point in time, plans must be implemented. The approved plans must begin implementation. One thing that wasn't clarified were you heard that Superintendent Johnson, Superintendent Pretzer, Superintendent Vollmer had plans already in the works. Do they need to wait till April 1st in order to start implementing those plans? The answer is no. If a district is ready to go, they can begin implementing them. They are already being kept whole for their foundation aid funding through March 27th. And so if a district has a plan in place, their foundation aid wouldn't be dependent on them implementing immediately, but if they want to begin implementing them immediately, they can. There is no reason for any school district to wait. Exactly. And so once they're approved, they can be certain that the foundation aid payment will be kept whole for them even after April 1st, if it's an approved plan that they are continuing to implement. I know that it's a bit wonky, and I'm sure there's still a lot of questions out there. Please be patient. Begin knowing that you need to work on these plans. As I said, the guidance will be posted, the timeline will be posted, and more importantly, the message from the governor, called the interim message from the governor, will also clarify many of these questions. So, as he said, until you get that, and as I'm saying and repeating today, know that your school district should begin working on a plan that will be submitted by March 27th. So it can be approved for implementation by April 1st, and foundation aid payments for students can be kept whole after that date as well. I want to provide to you some updates on some other issues. As I said, the distance learning expectations has been created and approved by the governor's office. That will be posted on our website very shortly, so districts can begin making their plans based on the expectations of the governor's office. In addition to that, I want to talk to you about some updates that have occurred outside of the governor's briefing today. The first, I want to remind everyone what the department's statement of intent is to reach our end state. So the department's statement of intent is to guide school districts with data-informed decisions so all students continue to learn while keeping all North Dakota citizens safe and well. At the end of this all, we hope that our educational services, we know that our end state will be, educational services will get back to normal. We just don't know when that will be. Our primary concern is for the health and safety of our students, our staff, and our communities. The state of North Dakota has been closely monitoring the situation regarding COVID-19, as we all have. And we are following and will continue to follow the guidance of our governor and the North Dakota Department of Health. Today we learned that a state or district or other recipient may use federal funds to pay its federally funded staff during a closure if it also uses state or local funds to pay state and locally funded staff during the closure. For those, what that means is, for example, if state funds will continue to pay state-funded staff during a closure, then Title I funds can also then continue to pay Title I funded staff, including teachers and paraprofessionals and aides. Title II funds can continue to pay Title II funded staff, IDEA funds can continue to pay IDEA funded staff, etc. It is important for districts to continue to pay paraprofessionals and other ancillary staff with state funds, so federal funds can continue to pay federally funded paraprofessionals and ancillary staff. As I announced today during the briefing, we have a new K-12 educational continuity plan team set up. NDDPI and EduTech have created the North Dakota K-12 Educational Continuity Plan team space for idea sharing, problem-solving collaboration, and file sharing. The membership includes hundreds, as I mentioned, over 800 at this point, of educational leaders from across the state, including public and non-public administrators and assistant administrators, principals and assistant principals, BIE administrators, and special education directors. This will become even more important in the next few days. This site, though, is only as useful if folks use it. It's a space for you and the experts to share, question, and help each other as we move forward toward a plan creation for all of the different scenarios. As you heard in the briefing today, the Senate passed the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, H.R. 6201, and the President signed it last night. With this bill, USDA will have additional authority to issue waivers to support access to the child nutrition programs, including issuing nationwide waivers, which will reduce paperwork for states and help more schools, local government agencies, and community organizations quickly adapt and provide meals, waivers that can increase programmatic costs, and waivers to adapt meal pattern requirements in response to the disruptions and any eventual food supply challenges. In addition, USDA will also have the authority to allow child and adult care centers to operate as non-congregate sites. As we all know, the Summer Food Service Program is the primary meal program available to schools. You heard Superintendent Vollmer and Superintendent Johnson cite their numbers today. Over 1,100 in Valley City, I believe, over 2,300 in Minot Public School area today. That is incredible. It really does shine the light on how valuable our school systems are beyond math, reading, and science. I was touched by Superintendent Vollmer's addition that each of those 2,300 sacks of lunches were accompanied by a note from somebody that cared about them. Distance learning, as I mentioned earlier, DPI in collaboration with the governor's office is working to provide better guidance in this area and will be very available soon, like within an hour. Special education. On March 20th, the office will participate in a call with the Department of Education, and in particular, the Office of Special Education Program Leaders on special education matters will be discussed. I know from the questions that we're getting from all across the state that this is an area that you are seeking much more specific guidance in. We are certainly hearing from our National Guard leaders and those our command center that we need to provide an expectation of whole versus all, whole of state versus all. I'm not sure that we're going to be able to give you as specific answers as you desire, but as I mentioned in my briefing today, that it is the goal and the mission of the Department of Public Instruction that we are focusing on service to our students and their families, and we will do whatever we can to cut the bureaucratic red tape and the timelines and get some clarity for you on that so you can focus on serving the student and not the paperwork. Assessment. NEDPI is canceling the March 24th ACT makeup test administration, whether schools are back in session or not, and obviously we will not be. This cancellation will also include the March 24th and April 3rd ACT accommodation testing window and the March 24th through April 2nd ACT online testing window. ACT makeup testing will be moved to the April 7th test date at this point. Everything is fluid. The only thing that is certain is uncertainty at this point, and the corresponding accommodation and online testing window. ACT is continuing to work with us to explore the possibility of future alternate test dates when they are needed. Some adult education sites are getting plans approved with host agency to do distance learning. Again, the process toolkit has been created and posted to the DPI website. This is a fluid tool as things are constantly changing, but it provides all of the guidance provided on our website in one document and gives some answers to the frequently asked questions. Again, I'm going to start with the way that we started and just say I understand the challenges and the pain points that you're all experiencing. Please work together to create solutions, to suggest solutions that I might offer to the governor as you move through these challenging times, so I can provide those to him and he can consider them in any future policy decisions or executive orders that may be necessary in the future. Thank you, everyone, for your work, for your commitment to our young people. I am in a room full of people that are here to serve you and working with you to make sure that we are receiving or providing to you the services that our children deserve in the state. Please, everyone, be well, stay well, and take care of each other as we work through this.
Thank you, Superintendent Basler. And just a reminder to all of you, keep out there, keep your heads up, keep positive, and keep after it. If you have any questions, again, send those questions to Dale Wetzel. Thank you and have a great day. Good night.